What happens when a plant, or a people, moves from one place to another? We often turn to language to offer a frame. So we have introduced species, invasives, exotics, and weeds. So we have plant immigrants. Or indeed, too often when applied to people, just migrants. I became preoccupied with this question in 2018 as I wrote of local species I'd met high in the Taiwanese Central Mountain Range, only to learn later that these species, when encountered elsewhere, are considered highly invasive. I'd seen trees whose closest genetic relatives were spread wide across the world, and I began to wonder whether all these plants deserved a bit more thought than I was accustomed to giving them. I'd been in Taiwan examining my own family's migration story. The parallels felt insistent, if imperfect. When I was a child, my paternal grandmother had a painted window hanging of a European robin. Beneath it sat a suncatcher. When the light shone through, it refracted into beams of color that danced upon the kitchen walls. The essays in this collection are rather like that. In each, plants illuminate facets of life and our world, whether personal, political, ecological, scientific, or otherwise. The plants here are displaced in a range of ways. Some are seen as weeds hitching a ride around the globe. Some are valuable crops humans have intentionally extracted from one place to another, while others are cultural artifacts of human stewardship or techno-scientific plant breeding. These stories are but a fraction of their being in the world. As I wrote, I came to see more clearly that the trees, shrubs, grasses, mosses, algae, and seeds in this audiobook are forces of their own, making worlds far beyond my imagination and interpretation. Our pictures of the world are only ever fragmentary. Our language for plants is much the same. In Arts of Living on a Damaged Planet, the biologist Andreas Haenel writes that metaphors are always a double bind. They at once allow us to see and stop up our abilities to notice. So while I offer the frame of plants out of place, the essays here do not always offer answers. As neither an ecologist nor a horticulturalist, but a historian, I dwell upon the question of how some of our many ideas about plants and place have been formed. I examine the stories that constellate around species we've encountered through our own migrations around the globe. And as a writer, I ask whether these ideas might serve us any longer.